Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Thursday Super Cup Series here for the Hooters 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway. And definitely going to be a great race we have in store for us here tonight. A lot of drivers showing up here to do battle here at this true oval of Homestead. This mile and a half, definitely a tricky one indeed, very technical. You have to lift a lot here, save tires. Of course, it's going to be probably the name of the game all night long. And guess what?
Do you even lift, bro?
You definitely gonna have to lift here.
I don't lift.
Oh, you ain't gonna have much tires on it, of course, as you could hear. My partner here, Big Al. How you doing tonight?
Hi, man. Doing pretty good, Brian. Excited to be back at Homestead, sunny Miami, and this is not going to disappoint. It's going to be a great race here tonight, and I think if people hold their mouths just right, they might even get a little bit of something out of this because we do have a playoff set that's on the line, and I'm sure you're going to tell us all about that.
Well, I would have if you wouldn't have interrupted me. No, I'm just playing.
What?
I don't know. I'm just playing with you. But looking at the actual Cup Series standings, of course, the Cup Series just started, I do believe, about 4 or 5 races ago. 4 races ago. I do apologize. Mark Pageant right now at the top of the board there for that series. Matt DeCiani sitting in second. He's one of the only drivers that's got a win so far in the actual Cup Series. Jeffrey Souza right now sitting in third. Fourth place, Derek Heitman. Fifth place, Kenny Powell. Greg Wychinski's in sixth. Don Avery's in seventh. And rounding out our top 8 here is Clayton Hoffman. Of course, what's more important probably to talk about is going to be the Super Cup Series because guess what? I mean, next week I do believe is a cutoff race, if I'm not mistaken, Big Al. Taking a look at those points right now. Alrighty, Clayton Hoffman right now is the only man that I do believe is locked into the Final Four right now. Of course, Mark Pageant, he's in second. Matt DeCiani, he's in third. Jeffrey Souza in fourth. So right now, that is where the Final Four stands. Of course, a lot can change after this race. Al Kozlowski's in fifth. Kenny Powell in sixth place. Mark Sanchez in seventh. Andrew Griesbaum in eighth. All these drivers still have a chance to lock themselves in. But I'll tell you what, I do believe some of them are in a must-win situation there, Big Al.
Yeah, I do believe there's like 7 of them that are in a must-win situation because there's only going to be 4 slots, and the only way you can guarantee yourself in is to actually get the W. So, but looking out for those guys tonight, hoping that they can all actually have a safe race here tonight.
Yeah, not everybody can win though. There's only one winner when it comes to racing out here. So definitely some guys are going to be trying to hopefully point their way in. Of course, the race facts for tonight: the Hooters 200. 134 laps here. Stages are 25 and 50. 5 tire sets, 4 actually down in the pits. The fuel window is 49 laps, so that means you guys should be able to make it pretty easily through the first couple stages, but will not be able to make it on the full run there in that final stage unless we have maybe an opportune caution. We'll have to see. Of course, the racing's been, or not the racing, the lap times have been very close tonight, Big Al. You kind of mentioned that before the broadcast even started.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be about where everyone qualifies. Look like Matt DeCiani right now is sitting in the catbird seat. But this race having playoff implications, though, Brian. That's one thing we're going to have to definitely stay away of. But let me ask you this question: what's the over and under on cautions here this evening?
I have no clue. I mean, it could go either way, Big Al. Really, I mean, it could really go either way. I mean, this is a track that sometimes you see long green runs. Sometimes you have problems in the beginning of the race. I mean, it's very hard to go into turn one here and kind of know what your grip level is going to be. Nothing really is going to prepare you for that, considering, on that restart or on that start, it's going to be different from when you went out there just were practicing. I mean, you're going to have turn 1 and 2 down, pat pretty much whenever it comes to being up to race speed. But when you're actually starting, when the pace car dives off and the green flag comes out, you're at a different momentum then. So some guys overdo it and they spin out, Big Al. So I think that's something that could end up playing a role tonight.
But I just want you to pick a side. Do you think it's going to be a lot of cautions? Or do you think we're going to get through this thing pretty much caution free?
I am not willing to bet on it because I don't know. I think we're going to have cautions. I don't think it's going to be a caution fest.
With 20 cars in the field, that is quite a bit. So that's going to give us plenty of opportunity to see a lot of racing around here. I I anticipate it'll be pretty docile for the first two stages, hopefully. But at the end of the stages, I think it's going to get a little sporty, and I will go ahead and throw my sporty hat on again towards the end of the race. So I'm saying 3 cautions outside of stage cautions. That's my prediction.
All right. Well, we'll have to see. What happens. You never know. Well, if you're right, I mean, I guess we'll give you a cookie. But let's go ahead and take a step away and play our national anthem for this evening. We'll be right back with your grid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with tonight's action. We have the grid set here as Matt DeCiani going to take the pole. Mark Pageant going to start in second place. Third place is going to be Mark Sanchez with Andrew Griesbaum lining up in fourth. Fifth place is going to be Greg Wachinski, with sixth place being Derek Heitman. Seventh place is going to be Wayne Grossi, with eighth place being Al Kozlowski. Ninth place is going to be Kenny Powell, and rounding out our top 10 is Carl Dodson.
That's going to put Don Avery in 11th with Darren Mullins along his outside. And 12th, Jeffrey Souza gets the bid in 13th with Clayton Hoffman starting deep in the field in 14th. Brian Johnson, the brother Johnson, coming in 15th with Josh Schaffner, Cornman back in P16. Chris D. Johnson, the other brother Johnson, in 17th with Paul Osen in 18th. Randy Drumhiller and Andrew Layton round out this 20-car field.
definitely a nice size field that we're going to be having here tonight. Glad to see it. I mean, we kind of have been seeing a little bit less numbers in these playoff races, but it looks like a lot of guys coming back wanting to get it started, and also probably trying to get some points for the Cup Series too, Big Al.
Yeah, and it's kind of shocking though because so many people will come back for Homestead. This is one of those tracks where I think I'd probably try to avoid. Homestead and I just don't really get along that well. I don't know what it is about this oval that wants to be 1.5 miles, Brian. I just can't seem to figure it out. But looking at the track temp down there tonight, looks like the ambient air temperature is going to be 79 degrees, 103 degrees on the track. Wind's going to be out of the southeast at 9 miles an hour.
Yeah, definitely the best conditions we could have here for some racing, that's for sure. Is see Matt DeCiani pulling off of the grid here. We're going to be getting the green flag here any moment now. Of course, you see these pit access roads here. Guys are going to have to use that coming off of pit road, and could be quite tricky. As we'll have to see. I mean, tire wear is going to be a big deal here tonight. All about being consistent and not overdriving it. It's very easy to do here at this track. You said it yourself. It's a hard track. I mean, it's one that a lot of people don't really know how to drive. I mean, I am definitely in that camp too.
Yeah, it seems like it's just so easy. Just get out there, press the hammer down, get up there, turn left. But yeah, it's a lot more that goes into this track. The big thing is going to be throttle control as Matt DeCiani now gets ready to lead the field as the pace car should be down and away here momentarily, Brian, and we'll be getting ready to take this thing green flag racing.
And there it is. As they exit the Geico restart zone, green flag is out. Matt DeCiani side by side with Mark Pageant going to be entering turn one. And this is what I talked about. Very difficult to get turn one right on the initial start. It looks like everybody in top three did fine.
Yeah, looks like Derek Heitman, though, is right up there, and he is up high trying to come down low. Al Kozlowski stepping it up. A little bit congested back in the back, but I think they're going to try to work it out as Heitman now gets down low in front of Andrew Griesbaum.
Yeah, Griesbaum did not do as well on that initial start. I do believe he was being a little bit conservative there, but it looks like he's got himself up to pace. He was turning some really good laps in practice, so hopefully they're able to get that ship righted. He still is in the top 5, so got to be pretty happy about that.
Now, Al Kozlowski, another driver that's going to be battling because his finish is going to determine whether he's in the playoffs or not, as he has Carl Dobson actually pushing him on around his teammate there, Greg Wyszynski, as Al now goes down low. So speaking of low, Brian, what's the favor here on this track? You think where you running? You're going to try to bend the corners and go low, or you think you're going to run a little bit Clayton high?
Well, I think it's all really about, whatever situation you find yourself in and whoever you're racing against. Because, I mean, it's going to be hard to pass people on the bottom. It's going to be hard to get, people to sacrifice and get away from that top. I think a lot of guys are going to run that top, but then they're going to find out that it's going to burn their tires up. We've seen that plenty of times already this week in different series that we covered, where that top line seems to burn the equipment up a little bit more.
Yeah, you definitely be freaky fast up there, but you're going to pay the price there a little bit later on in the run. It's Kozlowski now trying to get the dive on Andrew Griesbaum. Looks like he's going to pull it up just fine. Dobson having to check up just a little bit. I think he might have scared himself with the run that he was getting coming into the turn.
Yeah, this is definitely a track that's all about exit speed. I mean, you want to back it up a little bit, almost like you would at a short track, just so you get that really good exit. It looks like Al Kozlowski's looking really good tonight.
Yeah, you can see exactly what we were talking about there. His Griesbaum is kind of a little bit off here. Now watch how Wyszynski's going to try to dive down on the inside. Griesbaum looks like he's actually able to close the door on him. Wyszynski, though, still down low, trying to get the drive off, and you just got to wait till the right time to put your foot back in the throttle. As we were watching practice, a lot of drivers kind of getting a little squirrely back there, Brian. Throttle control is definitely going to be key.
Well, still, it has been side by side for the lead for the last couple laps here as Mark Pageant works the top side. Right behind them, you see Derek Heitman and Mark Sanchez side by side. So some heavy fighting going on right now.
And that's not going to be good for either Pageant or DeCiani, because at some point, they're really just going to be burning each other's equipment up, because they are technically not able to pick the preferred line. They're having to drive the line that's being, kind of dictated by the one being on the bottom or the top.
Looks like Mark Pageant, though, has the advantage right now. I think he's got it. Mark Pageant, your new leader. Can Matt DeCiani mount an offense here? As Mark Sanchez looks like he's starting to struggle. Got a little bit loose off that corner. Now going to fall victim to Derek Heitman, and now Carl Dobson going to try to get around him.
Dobson going way high around the outside. He is really the only driver that's up there running the line that he's running. So, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe he's probably going to have to bring it down a little bit later. Now, there he is. He's on the inside of Derek Heitman, and he is pulling right up to the rear of Matt DeCiani.
Yeah, he was able to get by Derek Heitman. Oh, he gets loose. Oh,
you got to hold it.
He saves it. Man, that was close.
But that's not going to do him any favors, though. He definitely probably roasted those Goodyears. But no caution comes out, and luckily for him, in about 10 laps, he'll be right back up to the front there because we'll have our first stage. Well, 25 laps in this stage, so we still got a ways to go.
Yeah, but definitely what a save there. You could tell he was being really aggressive, and unfortunately, that's what happened. But fortunately for all the cars around him, that he did save that, because that could have been very bad.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is one of those tracks where if you kind of lose it, it is kind of impossible for people to get around you. And it's also hard to pass here as well. So as these tires start to get worn, I think we're going to see these cars start to handle completely different.
Yeah, I think we're already starting to see a little bit of that as, these guys have fallen off a couple tenths now. Or maybe for some guys. Some guys have fallen off more than others. But look at Al Kozlowski go. He is driving the wheels off that machine right now. He's caught up to Mark Sanchez.
He's catched up.
I got a toothache. Leave me alone.
Oh, that's awesome. I love our little buddies from South Carolina.
We see the 24 of Kenny Powell trying to work on Jeffrey Sousa here. This is the battle for 8th place.
I was watching Sousa doing practice, man, and it seemed like he was definitely having a little bit of a hard time holding on to it. Powell going to have no problems getting by him. Now he is back up to the back end of his G&G teammate, Greg Wachinski. Wachinski really checking up there coming out of the turn. That'd have been turn 1.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of definitely choking these guys up a little bit here as Kenny Powell has to try to get around his own teammate here. Looks like Wachinski's struggling a little bit here in that 5 machine.
And we're starting to actually see these guys break off here. Wachinski goes low. We're starting to see these guys actually break up here into a couple different groups, and that's happening right here about lap 12. So about halfway through this thing, I think is where we're going to start to see the bells start to toll.
And somebody we haven't talked a whole lot about, of course, Clayton Hoffman right now, our points leader. He is right now in 12th place. Started in 14th place, so he's not looking as quick as he usually does, but I think this is all according to plan. You never doubt that 92.
Well, speaking of which, though, it is kind of refreshing to have some new guys up front here for a while. Mark Pageant now starting to stretch his legs a little bit, and he's going to have one of the biggest leads of the night as he is out to almost 0.6 of a second over P2, which is Matt DeCiani.
Yeah, once Pageant got by Matt DeCiani, he just started pulling away here. We'll have to see if he keeps it up, though, because, this could be, could cause symptoms to where he'll fall back to the mean. We've seen that time and time again. No matter who's out there driving, when you're the one setting the pace, a lot of times you can set that pace a little too high.
Well, another thing we're going to have to pay close attention to is the effect of clean air, because right now he is the beneficiary of all the clean air, and that is making a little bit of a difference. The guys behind him for the majority of it, they're actually staying in line. So I'm not sure exactly how he's actually able to get away that much. Now here comes Al Kozlowski, as he really had a heck of a run coming up to the back of the 31 of Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Matt DeCiani starting to be pressured there, too. You see Andrew Griesbaum side by side with Kenny Powell.
Yeah, we're starting to stack it up a little bit as we're tend to go in this stage. Is looking more and more like go time for a lot of these drivers.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely go time. You see right now Don Avery also a little bit further back here trying to capture ninth away from Wachinski. Looks like he's going to be able to do that along with Wayne Grossi going to try to follow him through. Yeah, Wachinski's got to figure something out. Something's wrong right now. I just don't know if he's got the rhythm down.
The rhythm is going to get you. Rhythm is going to get you. There it is, folks. Big Al karaoke.
That's right. But Mark Sanchez starting to fall back, or Mark Pageant is starting to fall back here. The Matt DeCiani in the one cars really started catching him. I think he's getting ready to be enveloped by this top 5.
Yeah, because Heitman is all over the ones bumper, and I just don't know if that's going to end good or if it's going to be disastrous as these guys are slowly trying to catch up to the back of the 2-car Pageant. Now, Kozlowski at the end of that line, he is getting a tremendous run going into the turns and having to check up a lot.
Sanchez
goes
with some
low.
problems. Yeah, I think Sanchez got loose there.
Yeah, it's about that time to get loose.
Yeah, one thing about it, I've heard this a lot. You know, a lot of these setups, no matter who you're kind of running, it seems like the car gets loose after 20 laps.
And we're right there at that. I mean, it'll be 19 next time by at the line.
Here comes Matt DeCiani challenging for the lead.
Yeah, Pageant just kind of burned his stuff up, and now he is definitely going to have to try to manage how many places he falls back, and he can't cause the big one. It's just too early to get that racing, so it'll be interesting to see now Kozlowski down on the inside trying to make that move. This is the battle for P3.
Telling you what, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Kenny Powell right now as he has been running these guys down.
Yeah, but look at the 31 of Mark Sanchez running up here high in the front.
These guys are fast.
About that.
I mean, these are guys that have been struggling. You know, maybe don't show race-winning pace. They're showing it tonight. They're showing it right now. Such a close field, and you don't see that a whole lot, even at a lot of other mile and a halves. I mean, yeah, they're all going to be close on the short run, but not on the long run. These guys now, you know, reversing on 20 laps and still, you know, holding up really well here as Mark Pageant trying to hold on to as many spots as he can here, now being challenged by Kenny Powell.
Look at how high he washes up the racetrack, and now Sanchez is going to be right on his inside as well. Can't touch here, guys. This is where it gets a little bit sporty, especially as they get ready to go into turn 3 here. Sanchez now taking the high line. Whoop, get a little bit low there.
Yeah, Sanchez looks like he's going to be able to try to get that pass completed there on Mark Pageant. Of course, Pageant, he is pretty good in the points right now, but, you know, all it takes is one bad race to change that whole situation, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that happen so many times before here. So far, man, so good here. 4 laps to go in this stage. It'll be 3 to go at the line, and is looking like it's going to be a pretty clean race.
Yeah, definitely looking really clean right now. We'll have to see. I'm sure we'll see the intensity pick up, though. That's still the top 3 right on top of each other here. No clue who's actually going to win this stage. Al Kozlowski getting some good runs. Derek Heitman, he has been running really strong.
Yeah, Kozlowski this is a must-win day for him. He needs to get as many points as he can through the stages, and a W at the end on the top of this thing would not hurt. And look at how far back Mark Pageant has fallen. He has gone from the lead with 0.6 of a second all the way back to 6th place. And, you know, if he falls back much further, Ryan, he might not even capitalize on any stage points.
Yeah, that's definitely could be something here. I mean, he's still struggling. I mean, now here comes Andrew Griesbaum. Something has gone wrong. He has got to have burned his tires slap up, or maybe before the race made an adjustment. Could have been a wrong decision. We've seen plenty of guys do that too.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be watching to see if DeCiani can actually withhold his position and pull this thing home here. As it gets a little bit racy back towards the back there. Clayton Hoffman Clayton Hoffman just sliced by Andrew Griesbaum.
Yeah, he's been the big mover right now. He started in 14th, now up to 8th place. Actually, no, I think he's now up to 6th place. Wow.
6th place, yeah. He's the big mover. Here comes Brian Johnson on the charge.
And
He
you would
has
expect
climbed
this.
himself up into the top 10.
Yeah, this
You know,
is some.
lot
Oh,
of
Don Avery sideways.
Trouble between Don Avery. Looks like he made contact. Caution's not going to come out.
Yeah, lucky for all these drivers, caution does not come out. But you could tell that a lot of these guys are doing really well in the long run. I think it's because they're being patient. You know, I always say it. It's one of my things I always say. First 5 laps, the most important laps on the run. If you burn those tires up the first 5 laps, you're going to be hating it. And I think that is so much even more important here at Homestead.
Yes, this is the last lap here. Caution should be coming out once the 10th place car crosses the line.
Kenny Powell side by side.
3 wide almost back further in the pack as Brian Johnson comes by Andrew Griesbaum. That's going to put Brian Johnson all the way up to 8th place. Also, Jeffrey Souza, Josh Schaffner trying to go by. Oh, there is the stage. Stage 1 in the books. Matt DeCiani, your official Stage 1 winner. Derek Heitman comes in 2nd. Kenny Powell, P3. Al Koslowski, 4th. Mark Sanchez, 5th. Clayton Hoffman, 6th. Mark Paget, 7th. Brian Johnson, 8th. Andrew Griesbaum, 9th. And Jeffrey Souza is going to round out that top 10 point span positions with Stage 1 in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and take a brief step away, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with your Stage 1 winner.
You gotta get down to Hooters, have a drink, catch the game, get yourself some awesome wings. It's the place to do your thing. You gotta get down to Hooters. Here she comes, a girl next door, hanging with good friends and more. Come on, what you waiting for? You gotta get down to Hooters. So get on up and get on down to Hooters.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tough, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we're going to have our Stage 1 winner up in the booth here. Matt DeCiani able to take care of business. You saw Mark Paget kind of go up there, burn his equipment up. You had the patience, and you still were able to hold off Derek Heitman and charges from Al Koslowski. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Par is decent there. I definitely pushed a little too hard, and I started to pay for it. But yeah, thanks to Derek, he definitely had more pace there at the end, and he helped me get those points there. So thanks to him.
Yeah, definitely did for sure, and going to help out a lot. You know, how you feeling about the rest of the race? You made any adjustments to that car?
No, driver adjustments more than anything. Just gotta take care of these tires here because yeah, they're gonna be super important.
All right. Well, we know when the pace car lights are out, you guys are getting ready to get back underway. Who can we give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to you guys in the booth. Thanks to EPI, and thanks to Derek for that last stage. So thanks, guys.
All righty. Well, good luck to you. We'll talk to you later, hopefully. That was Matt DeCiani, our Stage 1 winner. Of course, the pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get this thing back underway.
Yeah, and I think it's going to get a little bit sporty here because there's a lot of drivers that are in must. They need the points. I mean, points are points are points. That's going to be the key theme here from this race. The lights are off on the pace car. He'll be getting out of the way. Looks like the 76 of Derek Heitman is going to take us off here through the Geico restart zone.
Green flag back out in the air. Derek Heitman with a big jump.
DeCiani going
side. Sorry?
Yeah, DeCiani's going to be now trying to figure out what position he wants to go. If he wants to go low, if he wants to go high.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some hungry people right there behind him. And McKinney Powell fighting side by side with Mark Sanchez. Al Kozlowski thinking about taking it 3 wide. You can just tell that Al wants to take it 3 wide.
Powell got a little bit squirrely there, but looks like he was actually able to power through, and that's going to give him the best of Sanchez. Sanchez also going to lose to Kozlowski now as he is pushing down low on the bottom.
Some really tight racing going on right now. Jeffrey Souza also making his way a little bit closer to the front here. Tell you what, who's in the Hornet's nest? Andrew Griesbaum. I do believe there goes the 4 of Brian Johnson there around on the high side, followed by his teammate Josh Schaffner. Glad to see Schaffner back. This is a track that I think will suit him.
Yeah, absolutely. And these two are definitely going to be working together to try to get around Griesbaum. Griesbaum goes up a little bit high.
Oh, some smoke. A little bit of smoke here. I think a little bit of somebody just got a little loose up here in the top 5. Al Kozlowski's getting really loose. I think he was the originator of the smoke.
Well, Powell's been smoking a lot, too. I've been trying to figure out what exactly has been going on with that. It can't
Maybe
be
a bad adjustment. Could be a bad adjustment. I mean, because causing the tire to burn a little bit prematurely. I don't think they have tire rubs in iRacing yet.
I don't know. Yeah, I thought I was going crazy, but I kept seeing smoke, especially around that 24 when he was getting in and out of the turn. So, yeah, not sure about that. There's something we're going to have to be mindful of. Continue to watch. Both the 4 and the 50 have made it by Griesbaum now, and he's got the 7 of Wayne Grossi that's now going to be pecking at his back door. And Grossi is definitely going to be trying to get around Grossi because that will put him up into the top 10 here for the first time tonight. Sorry about that. Grossi actually qualified in P7.
See Chris Johnson right now side by side with Grossi right now. Here comes Clayton Hoffman, going to take him 3 wide on the top. Grossi coming down here, getting really close to Chris Johnson. But it looks like Clayton Hoffman makes the move. He's able to take 2 in 1 turn.
Hey, you know, Chris Johnson probably didn't appreciate that too much. I'm just glad that he was actually able to make it unscathed as Hoffman is running that high line now, that known as the Hoffman or the Larson line, and he is definitely making it work there, Brian.
Here comes Kenny Powell on the inside, going to be trying to take a spot away from Matt DeCiani. Powell slides up a little bit, but he's able to maintain the momentum. Can he get this pass completed? It's going to be difficult to pass on the bottom. Very hard to pass on the bottom at this racetrack as Derek Heitman is your leader.
His best shot is going to be to try to get that pass done early in the stage while those tires are fresher. Because as they wear out, he will slide up.
And look at that, Powell with a slide job.
That was a slide job and a half as Powell moves up to P2. And now he's going to have his sight set on Derek Heitman as Powell is definitely desperate to win this thing in order to continue his chances in the playoffs.
You got to love it. This track, every bit of real estate out here is being utilized right now. Rubber getting laid down as Matt DeCiani goes to the top. Let's see if he can, what he does up there. It looks like he's going to be able to keep some momentum here. Pageant coming here 3 wide. Remember how strong Pageant was earlier in the run last stage. Oh, DeCiani down on the apron. Oh!
Hold on to it. That's pushing Powell high. That is not what Powell needs. They're 3 wide now coming out of the turn. Somebody's going to get pinched as Pageant rolls up high and takes P2.
How did they make that work? How did DeCiani not just kill Kenny?
Don't kill Kenny.
I'm just shocked. I mean, that was some great driving right there, and good on Kenny to give him room. You know, probably was looking out of his side. You know, seeing that, like, oh Lord, I need to go up and give him some room.
Well, you know, speaking of giving room, you said Clayton Hoffman. Actually, he started this run all the way back in 20th position. I want you to understand that. Now he has already made his way up to P10, so I think he's just playing with his food.
It does seem like that, doesn't it? I mean, I understand why you would think that, just considering. I mean, it looks like he's just trying to tie a hand behind his back. That way he can make it interesting.
Yeah, he is definitely making his way through the field, and he is already going to run up on the top of Greasebomb. Look at how high he's running. He's just making that high line just work now. You know, you live by that line, you die by that line, because a lot of times you get up there and you will touch the wall. And, you know, if you touch it just the right way with these cars, it will tell on you.
Oh, yeah, but he's been running it really well up there. I'm wondering how the tire wear is going to be, though. As Josh Schaffner kind of taking a play out of his book. He's been running a little bit higher also, but he drops down to the bottom. He's going to be trying to get around Greasebomb.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the tail right back through there to around the top 10 is to get around Greasebomb. That's going to be the movement they're doing there. Susan now is going to be battling up, trying to get his name up here in the P8.
Oh, wow. Kenny Powell with a slide job. Man, he is throwing sliders left and right here. He just took the lead past both Paget and Derek Heitman. But, Heitman probably not appreciating it very much as he does kind of clear himself on him.
Powell has nothing to lose at this point in the game, so.
Wow, just what a move.
In this stage. If Powell can come off with a victory here in P2, but nope, he's going to have Heitman and Paget coming down on the inside. Heitman trying to do everything he can to make it work, but it looks like Powell's going to get to run off the high line. Will he actually be able to maintain? Are they going to door bang? Looks like Heitman is going to be side by side. Kenny Powell still being scored as your leader.
Yeah, and we know that Derek Heitman, wants to try to get his buddy Matt DeCiani points here.
I mean, and it's go time, if ever there were go time. So these guys are going to be battling pretty hard. Powell pushes Paget all the way down to the bottom of the track. I think he's definitely going to get a little bumper after that one. I don't think Paget's going to appreciate it too much, but if you look right in the back of your screen, you'll see Clayton Hoffman all the way up to 7th place, and he's making a charge to the front as well.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to appreciate that there from Kenny Powell, but it looks like he's able to continue as Al Kozlowski now comes into the picture here. Matt DeCiani's had a nice recovery, too. I mean, we saw him almost literally lose it and destroy the field, but now he's back up in P5.
Has this not been one of the most exciting races that we've called here this season in the ISCA?
I don't know. There's some definitely close ones, I'd say. But this is definitely very exciting. I'm loving every bit of this. Glad I'm up here and not down there. As here comes DeCiani on the high side. Going to be trying to get around Al Kozlowski. Here comes Clayton Hoffman, though.
Probably need you down there to pad my stats, so help me get my 2 cautions that I need.
You need them, don't you?
This Paget is definitely.
I think you said 3, though, didn't you? I think you said 3.
Yeah, I did, but I'll take 1 right now. Speaking of cautions, Don Avery has made his way all the way back up to 13th. Remember, he kind of lost control of it a little bit, and also the 5 of Wapinski is sliding back as he is all the way back in 15th place. That's not going to help his bid for anything.
No, not at all. And Greg Wachinski's been having struggles all night long, just has not been able to get the balance of that race car right here as we have some big battling going on. Matt DeCiani trying to capture 4th away from Mark Paget. Paget starting to show some handling woes, though. And look at Josh Schaffner. I mean, he's been quiet. He's been moving right along with Clayton, following him through everything.
Yeah, right now we are 4 to go in the stage before the flag drops, and Kenny Powell is all around Al Kozlowski as Kozlowski actually makes the move on Powell for P2. Now Powell's going to be dealing with Paget, and these two almost touched earlier, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Paget probably has that pretty fresh in his mind right now. Let's see what happens here. DeCiani, though, under fire from Sanchez and Clayton Hoffman.
Yeah, Hoffman kind of being held up just a little bit.
Not much he can do. He's got to take him 3 wide in order to get by here.
Don't think he won't.
Oh, I think he will, but I mean, he's definitely one that chooses his battles wisely. As he's now under fire actually from Josh Schaffner. So this is holding him up to where Schaffner has a fighting chance here.
Now, how is this going to play out between Heitman and Kozlowski? No, he currently has a half of a second lead. He's going to want to maintain that through the next 2 laps at least.
Yeah, he definitely is going to want to. Of course, Al Kozlowski still in the playoff hunt. You know, you don't want to give them points to him. That is for sure. As I do believe we're verging on 2 laps to go here in the stage.
Kozlowski is gnawing on that lead ever so slightly, getting very close here. He might make it interesting for us here on the last couple of turns, Brian.
A lot of people making it interesting for us on these last couple turns. I mean, wow, look at Schaffner go.
And Hoffman's trying to do the same. They're whipping the heck out of the ponies right now, baby.
Oh, they definitely are. They got those pedals mashed down to the floor.
This Heitman's going to do everything he can. Looks like he is actually going to be able to maintain that lead, so good on him. But what about Kozlowski? If he can actually hold on right now, having a P2 would be almost as good as a win.
Yeah, those would be some great points for him. But I don't think he's out of the woods yet, as Mark Paget has started to reel him in a little bit here. White flag is out for the stage. See, Brian Johnson is also coming to picture now, challenging Matt DeCiani. DeCiani does not want this. He got the stage 1 win, but he needs to have another stage win. It does not look like that's in the cards right now. As here comes Clayton Hoffman trying to take the high sign on Josh Schaffner. Look at the run that Hoffman gets here.
Schaffner might be able to hold him off here. Because he's got it. I mean, man, these guys are puckered tight here, Brian, coming up into the last couple of turns here. And there it is, stage 2 in the books.
Yeah, I do believe Derek Heitman going to be your stage 2 winner. Al Kozlowski in 2nd place. Mark Paget 3rd. Kenny Powell 4th. Mark Sanchez 5th. 6th place Josh Schaffner. 7th place Clayton Hoffman. 9th place Brian Johnson. I'm sorry, 8th place Brian Johnson. 9th place Matt DeCiani. 10th place Chris Johnson. But I almost called Clayton Hoffman Clayton Powell.
Oh, you didn't put it in the air now. I'll be spitting it out all night.
All right, with that, let's take another step away. We'll be right back with your stage 2 winner, or whoever Al wants to talk to.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate our sponsors there, UXO, and also big shout out to Hooters. I do believe we're going to have Mr. Al Kozlowski up here in the booth. Big Al, standing by.
Hey, Little Al, this is Big Al. You got me? Mrs. Kozlowski, you got me?
I got you.
Hey, so how's it going down there, man? We don't have a whole lot of time, but how's everything rolling for you?
It's a little tight. I'm getting a little pushy off the corners here. I just got to back it down a little bit, and I think we got something for these guys. Again, we're racing for a championship here, so I got to give it all. It's either throw it in the wall and hope it sticks, or lose it all. So we're going to give it hell here. I hope to be leading here in a little bit.
All right, well, I understand you got to get back to work, man. Who you going to mini shout out to before we let you go?
I give a shout out to my wife and my niece. They're watching the race tonight, and I hope we can do good for them here.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you,
Good luck to you.
That was Al Kozlowski, and we are getting ready to go green here. Pace car dipping down pit road as Al Kozlowski will be starting on the high side here. But Derek Heitman backing up the field.
Yeah, he hung Kozlowski out to dry just a little bit, and Kozlowski bid on it. Now I don't know if he got penalized or not.
Definitely hope not for Al Kozlowski's sake there, but I think he did fine. I think he backed off of it to let Heitman get across the start-finish line before him, and that's all you can do really in that situation. But he did lose a position there to Mark Pageant because of the fact, as we still have some racing going on, Clayton Hoffman made some big moves on pit road. He's now up in the top 5.
Yeah, he was not wasting any time getting out of pit road there. It was a little bit congested as Kenny Powell comes around the 31 of Mark Sanchez and the 50 of Josh Schaffner coming around high. Sanchez feels like he has got himself in a battle full of hornets as G&G is all over and around him.
You got to keep in mind, too, Sanchez is in the championship fight. He's one of those 8. I believe he's a little bit lower on the totem pole, so he definitely needs a win. He needs some good finishes here. Of course, Josh Schaffner, even though Josh Schaffner not a factor in the playoffs right now, he still is a factor, though, just considering these are points that he's taken away from these people.
Yeah, and there's still 2 series that are still going on, so just because guys aren't.
True that. Yeah, true that.
But, if you're not a playoff contender, it really would be sad to actually be that guy that wrecked out like somebody that was going for the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen that time and time again. As Al Kozlowski dives it in on the 0-2, he's going to make the pass.
Yeah, the key here, though, you got to conserve because this stage is a lot longer than 25 laps. It's almost going to be double that. As a lot of these drivers are going to be trying to run out the majority of that balance of that tank. And I do believe they have around 49 laps to the good on a fuel tank. So the majority of them are going to have to try to make that stick in order to get this thing down to where it be one manageable stop. But in order to do that, Brian, you're going to have to be very patient.
I'll tell you what, Al Kozlowski definitely does not have patience as a middle name.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
But, he's been showing glimmers of it as of late, I'll tell you that. There's been times that you'd think he's burnt his equipment up and he's still got, fire in his, and he's still got enough to do something.
Well, he's excited about the opportunity to win this thing, and I think he understands just, how dire he is in need of a win because if he wants any chance to advance, it's almost win or nothing for him.
Yeah, there's only 4 final spots.
Yes, Clayton Hoffman has made his way up into the top 4. He is bested Kenny Powell now.
Here comes Al Kozlowski challenging for the lead. I don't think he's going to be able to get it done, though, as he's going to have to get back in line. Oh, maybe he's not giving up just yet. He's fighting for that clean air. I think that's what he really wants to have.
Yeah, but, Heitman is not going to make it easy, and I do believe these two have a little bit of a colored past, if you will. So it'll be interesting to see how much respect Heitman does give Kozlowski, who is in running for a championship.
Yep, Al Kozlowski, though, with the advantage, he was able to get a good run through the middle, but Derek Heitman's going to get a good run on exit here. Still side by side. Everybody behind him is essentially single file just watching this battle right now. Well, they got a good view of it, I'll tell you that.
And Al Kozlowski takes the lead for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, surprised he hasn't taken it before now. I mean, he's been fast all day long.
Yeah, we're going to see if he can actually make that clean air work out for the 88 Speedway Angels Chevrolet.
I think his best thing is his goal that he needs to have is don't drive away. Don't even try to drive away. Just hang out. Do exactly what just the bare minimum to stay in front of Heitman. Save that equipment. But knowing Al Kozlowski, he's not going to do that.
I mean, that is kind of the key here. You gotta make this run be, worth it. It's going to be a long run. You just want to try to save so you can actually not lose so much off the top end as you get into the 40 laps or so on these tires.
It definitely happened. You see both of the Johnson brothers back tonight. We see Brian Johnson and Chris Johnson. Brian looking really strong. He's up to 7th place right now, and then I think he's got more out of him. I think he's a 5th place car easily. But look at Avery. Avery's also been one that has had struggles tonight, but he's showing back up now.
Absolutely. So that's got to be, really reassuring to the 11 of Don Avery, I'm sure. Hey, Sherry, how you doing?
And Don Avery up on the top side. Sherry probably really loving that to watch, him driving as well as he always does. Oh, problems!
Sanchez gets into Avery, then he comes back into DeCiani. Now Grassi as Avery is up into the wall. So we had about 4 cars that actually made contact with each other right there.
That could have broken a toe link there on Avery. Heavy hit on the outside wall. I do believe, I think that right front.
Avery is the recipient of the meatball flag, so that means he will be coming down for required repairs at least 8 minutes, right?
Yeah, I do believe so. That is just so unfortunate. We were just talking about him. Hopefully didn't put the broadcaster's curse on them.
Yeah, well, it's that Brian Britt broadcaster's curse.
Yep. Blame it on me, Big Al.
Hey, man, I appreciate you stepping up there and taking your share.
Taking one for the team, just taking one for the team,
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, though, for Avery, because I'm sure that is not the way he wanted his evening to end.
No, not at all. As you see the one of Matt DeCiani trying to work on Wayne Grassi here. This is for, I do believe, 9th position.
Mark Sanchez actually had a little bit of contact with that also, and Sanchez being a candidate for the championship, we're just going to have to watch his pace as well.
Yeah, you're going to have to hope that he didn't get too much damage. And one good thing about these cars, they're fairly tough. It's just if you hit them in just the wrong way, you can break that toe link. And that's really one of the big worries for a lot of these drivers out here. I mean, of course, you can, hit hard enough and maybe not break the toe link, but still bust something else up that hurts the aero. But for the most part, these cars are tanks.
Yeah, as we're halfway through this thing, Kozlowski is up to his biggest lead of the night. Looks like he has almost got a full second over P2 now. I hope he doesn't get the similar thing that happened to Mark Paget there, where he kind of went all the way out there to the front and then kind of fell all the way back there to the back.
Definitely a possibility, but right now he's trending to the good. His lap times are faster than about everybody out there. We'll have to see if he can keep that going. Of course, still a long way to go, I do believe, before green flag pit stops are going to be necessary. So I definitely will be trying to save here, but it looks like Derek Heitman and them starting to maybe reel him back in. See Mark Pageant's right there on Heitman. Not sure how they're going to behave around each other there.
Not sure what's happening with the 42 of Dodson, but he is way off the pace.
Yeah, it looks like he's just definitely has had a better night before. Not tonight. He's not having a great night at all in that Trust Me Vodka machine there. Wondering if he got some damage or something at some point. Looks like maybe some right front.
It's I don't know. He's not too slow. He's not real off the pace, but he is definitely going to be the first car I do believe that's going to go a lap down outside of Don Avery.
Yeah, I think you're right for sure. Very close to going a lap down already right now. I mean, he's 22 seconds back behind the leader and growing quickly. As the field starts to spread out a little bit here, you can tell that this is going to be the longest stage of the night. I'll tell you what, Kenny Powell not going anywhere. He's sitting right there on the back bumper of Clayton Hoffman. I thought we'd see Hoffman in the lead by now. I think we might soon enough, though.
Yeah, they just busted over 20 laps on their tires for this stage, so this is where it's going to start to get a little bit tricky. And in the next 5 laps, they'll be in the territory that, is unknown for a lot of these guys so far tonight. Track temperature still sitting around 99 degrees, so it has dropped roughly 2 degrees here. So since we've been racing, which is a good thing, I guess a cooler track is going to help these cars run a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely should for sure. Of course, the fuel window is 49 laps here. So I do believe probably fuel window going to open up probably in the next 15 to 20. I'd say these guys probably going to be trying to split it in half. Maybe some guys go a little bit longer. I mean, this is a track where I could see that maybe paying off. That way you have those newer tires later.
Yeah, so the next 10 to 15 laps, that fuel window is going to be open. So at that point, we'll see exactly how the strategies start to unfold, if you will. Keselowski's still doing everything he needs to do. He's still got at least half a second lead over P2, Derek Heitman. Mark Paget surviving a lot better than he did in the first stages. He is actually still able to sit up front there in P3. Clayton Hoffman enjoying his ride now. He's all the way up to P4. Kenny Powell still in the top 5.
Yeah, Clayton has been running down the 02 and the 76 there, and Kenny's just been following right along. I think that's what Powell needs to do.
Yep, Brian Johnson in P6, Josh Schaffner P7, Chris D. Johnson in P8, Matt DeCiani's in 9th place, and Jeffrey Souza rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, we just saw, I do believe, Brian Johnson actually make the pass there on Josh Schaffner. Still fighting back there, though. Matt DeCiani trying to reclaim the spots he had lost earlier in the race whenever he had that issue. He's right now running right behind Chris Johnson, who is now up into 8th place. You see Jeffrey Souza right there also. Souza, you mentioned it before. You watched him in practice before the race. He said he was really loose. Curious what kind of adjustments he's been making. We know he's of that technical mind. We know Souza never rests. He's always working on that car.
Yeah, the Triad guys are definitely got something going on. Let's take a ride with a couple of these guys here, Brian, see if we can't get our viewers a feel of how it looks. Take a couple laps around Miami Homestead.
Well, who do you want to watch?
Well, let's jump in with Mark Paget.
All right, we got Mark Paget here still. It's now side by side for the lead right in front of him as Al Keselowski under fire. And here comes Clayton Hoffman. Kozlowski getting tight from this viewpoint here.
A little bit of smoke coming off of that 88 Speedway Angels car, but now Clayton Hoffman is going to go high, and Kozlowski is going to have to keep his head here because he's going to stand to drop at least 4 places. He just can't panic. You know, he just has to maintain his race pace and just let these guys go.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he does that. But I mean, no, I definitely get what your point is. I mean, you know, even if you just fall back to 5th there, just kind of try to cool those tires off, get back at it.
Yeah, just, you know, live the race another day, because I think this is going to get down to pit strategies. And if these guys have to pit under green flag conditions, this is a tricky track to pit at, because trying to get down to that pit speed when you're going in, especially with these cars, it's definitely gonna ruin somebody's night. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, when you do have to do these green flag pit stops, your tires are probably at the warmest point they're going to be, and you know, that definitely could cause some major handling issues. I mean, this is a difficult pit road to get down to speed for. Oh, as Kenny Powell gets a little bit loose there, that's going to give Al Kozlowski an opportunity to get back underneath him.
Yeah, I think about the time that Powell caught Kozlowski, that's about the time that his car kind of went away on the handling. Now, at this point, these guys are sitting at 30 laps on their tires. That's the longest run that they've run thus far tonight on that equipment, and it is definitely starting to show itself. I mean, everyone's greater than a second off of the pace.
Yeah, as we see Brian Johnson going to be capturing, I do believe, trying to take 5th away there from Al Kozlowski. Johnson has been on the move. He's turning some really good laps. Actually, last time by, I do believe Brian Johnson was, yeah, he was faster than everybody pretty much behind him. I do believe the guys in front of him are turning some faster laps, but probably because Johnson's having to deal with Al Kozlowski right now. Kozlowski's not one to lay over.
Yeah, absolutely. But he just got a little bit slid up there just a little bit. But like I said, everybody just has to relax right now. Just kind of maintain, if you will, because you still got to go at least 5 more laps before you'll be able to make it on fuel.
Here comes Clayton Hoffman. He's been running the top for a lot of the race here tonight. Looks like he's going to dive down low and take the spot from Mark Pageant, now up to 2nd place. Now he's going to be setting his sights on the 76.
You know, Mark Pageant has the field more relieved than he has in a long time to finally get that 92 out of his rearview mirror. You know what I mean? Because that has got to be unnerving.
Yeah, it definitely does. And we know, you know, Clayton, always the guy that really is able to grab, you know, the great finishes. And, you know, I do believe he's locked into the Final 4. So, I mean, I'd rather him win than anybody else, just considering he can't lock himself in again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we still got to get through green flag pit stops, and Clayton is still, you know, he does have kryptonite out there somewhere. Sometimes Clayton can get the best of Clayton. He's just I don't know if it'll be that way tonight. You know, 99% of the time he wins, but you know there is that 1% of the time where something happens out of his control.
As he goes to the top here, trying to challenge Derek Heitman. Heitman has been steadily running that bottom line. And, of course, what's really impressive about this, though, is Derek Heitman, usually whenever we come to a track in the ISCA, it's his first time being there, Big Al.
Yeah, and I know this is going to be the same. This is the first time I've been here. I only ran 2 laps in practice.
Yeah, to be at a battle with the likes of Clayton Hoffman, you only turn 2 laps in practice. $85 laps into this race. Still a long way to go. Anything could still happen as Clayton Hoffman inches off of the back bumper of Derek Heitman.
Yeah, that's why I said again, like Mark Pageant has to be relieved that he doesn't have Clayton Hoffman behind him anymore.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if you have Clayton behind you, you're probably doing a lot more rear view driving than you are looking out the front window.
Speaking of rear view driving, Dobson is definitely going to be looking in his rear view mirror because, you know, at this point he has got to be feeling that angst. You know, it's like the shark attack is impending. Field's starting to spread out a lot as the 64 and the 43, John Mullins and Paul Olson also off with a lead pack. Andrew Greasebomb's also falling to the back of the lead pack as well. So guys starting to feel the results of those worn out tires.
Yeah, and Greasebomb does not need this in the slightest. I mean, he is, one of the top 8 in the points. I mean, he needs a good finish here. And, 16th is not going to do it.
Well, right now, everybody is good to go on fuel. So I guess effectively you could say our pit window is open.
Still, the battle for the lead is raging on as Clayton Hoffman is trying to find any way he can to get around the 76. I think the 76 is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's doing everything he can to keep that 92 behind him and making that 92 try to work and be a little uncomfortable. I think that's what the 76 needs to make, that 92 feel, to kind of run lines that he hasn't been running to try to figure out a way to get around him so he maybe can burn his tires up. Also, Brian Johnson is caught up to Kenny Powell. So it's going to be a battle between teammates here. Just saw Andrew Layton get around, I do believe, Randy Drumhiller, taking over the 13th spot. As he's going to be setting his sights on the 5 of Greg Wachinski. And Clayton almost had that pass completed there on the 76, but just was not able to get it done. This is not what Clayton needs right now. I mean, he is having some problems. And it looks like, I do believe Mark Pageant down pit road.
Yep, so green flag pit stops have officially begun. Mark Pageant to be the first one to come down.
You know what? I mean, I think that would be a good sign for the for Clayton Hoffman to come down. I mean, or even Derek Heitman to try to rob Clayton of that short pit opportunity.
Jeffrey Sousa looks like he's going to be making his way down pit road.
Yeah, along with Mark Sanchez and Andrew Griesbaum. Yeah, Griesbaum locks him up. Ooh. Here comes John Mullins also. Paul Olson. So green flag pit stops well and truly underway.
Now these guys run roughly 38 laps. Now here's the interesting part. There's 40. Oh, as Drumhiller gets into the wall, makes contact.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be good for his day.
Yeah, him and Andrew Layton kind of got into each other, and it ultimately caused him to slide up into the wall. But what I was going to say is these guys that are pitting now, they're pitting with 30-ish laps on their tires. They're going to have to make it 44 laps to the end of this thing. So that's going to be an even longer run. So they thought their cars were handling like crap then. Yeah, it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, it's going to get even worse for sure. So, yeah, I mean, I don't blame these guys for staying out a little bit longer here. As we see, I do believe Matt DeCiani also down pit road. Side by side for the lead. Here comes Clayton Hoffman. Can he get it done? I think he might have it here, as he's going to get a good run on the exit. But look at that. Derek Heitman able to stay right there with him. He is like a gnat that just won't go away. Clayton keeps trying to smash him, but he just will not go away. Look at that. Utilizing the side draft very well to try to hold that 92 back. And this is allowing Brian Johnson to catch up to these guys, Big Al. Brian Johnson, low-key, could win this race. I know we got a long way to go, but he is looking really strong right now. If these two battle long enough, look at that, Heitman able to take the lead back as they come up on Carl Dodson.
Yeah, Dodson just trying to get out of the way, but if these two are going to go back at battling, it's still going to be almost a 3-wide situation.
Oh, Heitman gets loose. That does make a 3-wide situation as Clayton Hoffman takes the lead back here. I don't think this is over by a long shot as Carl Dodson trying to stay on the bottom to try not to get involved here.
Well, it's almost impossible to do because Clayton and Derek Heitman have been battling side by side for the lead. And this battle isn't going to wane anytime soon. I think about the time that one concedes to the other, it's going to be time for them to pit anyway.
Oh yeah, and you got to imagine what the number they're doing on those tires.
But yeah, we don't. I mean, but these guys are 43 laps into this run here.
The majority of the field have pitted here. I do believe that only the top 5 have yet to come down.
The top 5 and Carl Dodson.
Just when is the hammer gonna fall here? When are these guys are gonna come down pit road?
Well, the one thing you don't want to see right now is no one wants to see a caution. So everybody's hoping that people will do exactly what they need to do, and we won't see a caution.
Randy Drumhiller down pit road right now. So
yeah, Drumhiller made contact with the wall, was way kind of off the pace, and was getting in all kinds of interesting situations back there. It looks like Heitman's coming down pit road at this time.
I don't blame Heitman for that decision. I mean, he was doing a great job battling with Clayton there. But once Clayton actually got fully past him, that is probably the best call he could have made. As you see all the guys on the new tires are coming by. I mean, this has got to make Hoffman feel like, hey, I need some new tires. We saw how hard it was. I mean, Hoffman has probably had the best car tonight. But we saw how hard it was for him to get by a lot of drivers. So, and here he comes. So, I mean, when he gets out of pit road, he's going to be behind some people, and I know he's been behind people pretty much all race and has fought his way to the lead.
That's
it's going to be hard. It's still going to be difficult, Big Al. Anything could go wrong there. I mean, because we saw how much he was having problems with Heitman, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I got you, but I mean, you're talking about Clayton Hoffman.
That's right. Yeah. He's not Superman though. Like you said, he's got some kryptonite. Something could go wrong. As Brian Johnson has not pitted yet here. He is your leader. Here he comes now. He waited the longest. He's going to have the freshest tires. And Carl Dodson's going to be following along right there with him.
Hey, why isn't Clayton like in the Coca-Cola series or something?
I don't know. Clayton's very, very talented, and he probably is capable of it, but I think that a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to make it into that series. I mean, it is. You have to go through Road to Pro, then you got to go through the Contender Series to even get into Coke. You have to finish, I do believe, in the top 20 in the Contender Series to get into the Coke Series. And those are, Road to Pro, you're fighting against the best of the best. I mean, imagine what you're fighting in the Contender Series. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's difficult.
I could do it.
We could get Big Al on the broadcast in there. I think he could do that.
I said that with sarcasm.
Looks like I think Mark Padgett's going to be the leader once all all is said and done, as we do have 34 laps to go now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, man, we've got guys that are out there that already have a substantial amount of laps on their tires. Padgett's already got 11 laps on his equipment. Mark Sanchez, Jeffrey Souza, 10 each apiece. So that's definitely going to start to show its ugly head here sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, you got Kenny Powell and Al Kozlowski in 4th and 5th with 7 laps on their equipment here. Of course, you got the guys that recently just pitted. I mean, Clayton Hoffman back in 9th place got 2 laps on his tires. I mean, it's definitely some big differences here. And when there's differences in the tires like this, that's when a caution's likely because everybody's on different speeds. And, it's hard to predict what that person is going to do, what their breaking points are on their current tire wear.
Yeah, the 64 Darren Mullins down pit road. Not sure what that's about.
Mark Sanchez, though, sitting in second place. He's a second behind Mark Pageant there. I'll tell you, Sanchez has had a good night. Been loving everything I've been seeing from that 31. He's been the picture of growth all season long. But everybody is pretty much spread out quite a bit here.
Yeah, this is that part of the race where, you're just talking to your driver, just trying to make sure that he can stay out of trouble. And to the guys that are out there on older tires, you're trying to tell them, make sure you conserve, because those guys can make it to the end, but those cars aren't going to get any faster, if you will. And like you said earlier, with those guys being mixed up with the guys that have fresher tires, it's just a matter of time before you start putting that oil and water together. And, well, we'll just see how that's going to play out on the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure. Big difference in, distance here. Mark Pageant right now has about a half a second lead there on Mark Sanchez. But all the way back to Derek Heitman and Clayton Hoffman. 5 seconds there to Derek. I do believe 6.5 there for Clayton Hoffman. It's a long way to go, but their lap times are looking much better than those top 5.
Yeah, now you can see Kenny Powell starting to get up onto the back end of Jeffrey Souza. And the reason why this is important is because Powell's tires are 3 laps fresher than Souza's. So now you're starting to get into that oil and water, but it's only going to be a bigger disparity as you go further back, because here comes the Speedway Angels 88 of Al Koslowski, and as Powell slowly gets held up by Souza, that's going to allow Koslowski to catch up, and then that's just going to make it even more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. As Powell's going to go to the top here, try to work his way around up there. Looks like he's going to get side by side. He's going to get a good exit. Yeah, I think he's got it. Really good momentum on the straightaway here. So Kenny Powell now up into the 3rd place position, as he's going to try to work his way up to Sanchez. Sanchez has been really doing a great job of working his way up to Mark Pageant. Oh, and look at Souza bump drafting Kenny Powell.
Was that a bump draft?
That's what it seemed like to me.
Nah, I don't know. That looked like some Bubba Wallace stuff to me.
Well, he didn't right rear him and put him in the wall.
Now here comes Koslowski. He is going to be trying to get under the 14. And look, I mean, Souza not giving an inch.
I mean, he's desperate. He's wanting to keep these positions.
Yeah, he really kind of pinched Koslowski down there.
I mean, really, he is pinching him like crazy. And that messed the handling up for Koslowski. Souza knows what he's doing. But Al Koslowski, a man with a short fuse, I would not be surprised to see some sort of, some consequences here. He's gonna know, hey, he's racing me really hard.
Yeah.
You were talking about Bubba Wallace. I think we might be able to see some of that here in a second from Al Koslowski. Of course, one good thing about it, these guys are not in actual physical harm. The only thing really going to get hurt here is emotional pain.
Yeah, and you look, Derek Heitman now has made his way back into the fray. So Koslowski not probably appreciating the undue pressure that he's getting from Souza, because that can't be really good on the bottom line.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, this is going to be a situation where Heitman might pass both of these guys at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to cause his tires to go way down.
Definitely some tempers flaring. No contact as Souza into the back of the 88 a little bit there. These guys are not happy with each other. They are not happy.
And you were right. Heitman passes them both, and that puts him all the way up into 4th place. And now he is going to be trying to track down Kenny Powell. As Al Koslowski still stuck, battling side by side with Jeffrey Souza.
And I almost do not want to even look away from this battle because I feel like this is going to be bad. Like, I just have a feeling. And here comes Clayton Hoffman. I mean, Hoffman's going to have to try to do exactly what Derek Heitman did. Depending on if he can or not, that could be what, who wins the race. Because, I mean, if Clayton gets held up by this, this could help out Heitman.
I mean, we still got 24 laps to go, so.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm just saying that this will have a huge effect on the results of this race here if Clayton cannot get by these guys in a reasonable amount of time.
And he's going to have to take it 3 wide.
Yeah, he definitely is going to. As he's going to be able to push, I think, Souza around, and then he's going to, try to take advantage. And yeah, he's going to be able to slide right on through, slides right in front of Al Kozlowski. Also, we got Kenny Powell trying to catch up there to Mark Pageant. That's Pageant. Yeah, Kenny Powell's your new leader. But here comes Derek Heitman. I mean, Heitman made his way through the field very quickly. As here comes Heitman on the inside, going to be trying to take the lead. And look at that, Heitman with the tire advantage, able to take it. As we're verging on, I do believe, going to be 20 to go next time by.
And the distance between Heitman tires and Clayton's tires is 1 lap, so.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough battle for Clayton. I mean, this is probably going to be the most he's been challenged all season long. I mean, he's still got to get through Mark Sanchez, or no, he just got past Sanchez, I do believe. He's got to get by Pageant and Kenny Powell. Both of these guys are in the playoffs. They're not going to want to just give these spots up, but I don't think they're going to have a choice as Pageant just lays over.
Dodson down pit road again. Yeah, I think he is disconnecting.
And so far, Big Al, I hate to say, I told you so. Well, I didn't really tell you so. I didn't make a prediction. You made a prediction. Unless we have 3 cautions in the next, under 20 laps, I think we're going to go. Wow.
It could happen.
It could.
I mean, seriously.
As Clayton Hoffman makes it right by Kenny Powell. Now we're going to resume that fight we saw earlier between Derek Heitman and Clayton Hoffman.
And, Kozlowski has fallen all the way back to 7th place, and Souza is right there with him in 8th. So it's just amazing and how far these guys have fallen back, and I don't think they're done slipping yet. And that's got to be, that's a crushing blow to Kozlowski.
Yeah, and don't count out Brian Johnson, who's one of the fastest drivers here so far tonight. He has just got by Mark Sanchez and has moved his way up into the top 5. He is right now 2.9 seconds back from these leaders.
Yep. The next car that's going to be going a lap down is the 43 of Paul Olsen. So not sure. Clayton should have caught Heitman before that, but I don't know how easy it's going to be for Hoffman to pass Heitman.
Yeah, we saw how good Heitman was at, holding off the 92 before. And I think the reason that the 92 caught him so fast is I feel like Heitman might be saving. I think he's like, I need to have tools left in order to battle against Clayton. Here comes Hoffman up to the rear end. This is going to be the battle of the season right now. This has definitely been a Titan-type fight right now. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, this is a heavyweight battle right here. And these guys they're reeling in the 43 of Paul Olsen.
This is Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield.
Please don't bite him.
Somebody's ear might get bit tonight. Clayton trying to size him up, figure out what his weaknesses are. But Derek covering every avenue. It looks like Paul Olson's going to drop down out of the way there. Probably a good call. You don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, definitely. Powell's definitely going to be holding his teeth the right way because he's got Brian Johnson's going to be reeling him in, but Powell definitely going to be desperate to try to get in P3, you know, in the top 3 if he can.
Yeah, he definitely is. I just don't know. I mean, Powell, significantly older tires than Brian Johnson. Johnson was the last man to pit. He has better tires than everybody out here right now. But he's running out of time to even try to catch up there and deal with those top 2. It's going to be a difficult battle. It's going to be an uphill battle depending on how quickly he can get around Kenny Powell. If he doesn't get around Kenny Powell quickly, I think Brian Johnson's not going to be able to contend for the win.
Yeah, Souza gets a little bit loose there. He's starting to have handling woes.
And you mentioned it too before, Big Al. I mean, a lot of these guys short pitted like crazy, right? I mean, so they're in that part now where they were before they pitted.
Yeah, they're
struggle
in the
bus. They're in the struggle bus right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the worst part because you know you're doing this coming towards the end of this thing.
Oh, looks like Sousa into the outside wall there as he's now under fire from Chris Johnson. Oh, Brian Johnson has made it by Kenny Powell, now up into the top 3. But he has about 3 seconds up to the leader. Looking at his lap times, let's see what he's running right now. 34.6 last time by, but I do believe that was as a result of him actually having to tussle with Kenny Powell.
Well, Clayton Hoffman is your leader now, and he is on his way.
Look at that.
Over yonder.
He definitely has got himself now almost a second lead over Derek Heitman. A lot of, I say that was an anticlimactic battle compared to the battle we had before the pit stops, wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir. Because there'll be 10 to go here next time by.
Clayton Hoffman started deep in the field. 14th place was his starting position tonight. In stage 1, he worked his way up into the top 10. Stage 2, he fell back to 20th and worked his way up into the top 10 again. And, you know, had a magnificent pit stop at the end of stage 2. And here he is leading the race. I mean, this guy's going to take any opportunity away